What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to check out my first battles here in the Remix Cup for Go Battle League in the Great League, as the Remix Cup is live. Now I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons. We decided to run or start this week with an Alolan Ninetales and Mandibuzz core in the back, utilizing Politoed, Defense Form Deoxys, or Toxicroak there on the lead, and a lot of the patrons did extremely well. So huge shout out to them. Congratulations. I'm glad you guys were able to climb a lot of rating. If you guys want to join the patron community, it's just $1 a month. Links are down in the description. You guys don't have to, but again, thank you for all the extra support that you guys do give. But let me know down in the comments, how is the Remix Cup going for you? What do you guys think about this team? I've been utilizing Mandibuzz a lot recently with that Empoleon, Alolan Ninetales, Mandibuzz core, and Mandibuzz honestly has been one of my best new investments, even though I don't have the best IVs. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments, and let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, getting into these battles. We did climb over 2,700, which was awesome. You guys will see that at the end. But we have Politoed here on the lead versus Jellicent. Now, what I like to do with a Jellicent lead here is try to catch this Shadow Ball. Now, we did lag a bit, but I believe I'm catching the 5th Hex right here. 5 Hexes is going to be a Shadow Ball, and I'm hoping to catch it here on Mandibuzz, but it is going to be a Bubble Beam Shield Bait right there. So good call by them. And they're going to bring in Alolan Ninetales with Charm right here, which definitely isn't ideal. But we need to think about what this team could be. FP6 recently ran Jellicent, Alolan Ninetales, and Vigoroth, which makes me think it might be that team, which means our own Alolan Ninetales might be able to sweep for us. So what we're trying to do is just as much chip damage as we can. Again, we have massive loaded energy on the Politoed, so we're going to go ahead and basically go for a double Weather Ball right here, force some shields, get this Alolan Ninetales out of there. So we got 2 Weather Balls now. We're going to go ahead and go for it. If they decide to shield, we'll have to see how we play this out. So here comes the first Weather Ball. They do decide to shield, so we're going to go ahead and go for a second. This tells me that maybe they're running a Steel, possibly maybe Registeel in the back, so I need to save my Politoed. I'm going to go ahead and swap out and go into Alolan Ninetales. Now, it'll tell me if they bring in Registeel, so be it. But they are going to bring in the Jellicent again, which tells me they're going to be really weak to Charm right here. So we're just going to try to do as much damage as we can. We're going to go ahead and shield this first charge move. It could be a Bubble Beam, so be it. But we need to just not get hit with the Shadow Ball right now. We need to go for the Psyshock as well to do as much neutral damage as we can in this matchup, even though our attack is lowered. So we do land the charge move there. We're going to go ahead and shield this next move. This could definitely be a Shadow Ball. They have built up enough energy, and sure enough it was, and they brought in a Pelipper. So somewhat similar role in being able to handle some of the tanks. Even though Bastiodon can do really well, Weather Balls really start to add up. So we're going to go ahead and catch this Weather Ball here. We're going to go ahead and swap now into Politoed. We banked a Weather Ball on our own Alolan Ninetales as well. That's what's very important. We're going to go ahead and Weather Ball spam ourselves. In order for this Pelipper to take us out, they're either going to have to throw a Hurricane or they're going to have to throw double Weather Balls. Either way, they're going to be energy dry, and forcing the shield right here with our Politoed, even though it is resisted, is definitely needed. So this is where they will have to throw a double Weather Ball or a Hurricane, either of which drains the energy that they do have, and they threw the Hurricane, which is perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball right away so we don't take any damage from Wing Attack here from Pelipper. This Weather Ball will take out the Pelipper, and then the Jellicent is going to come back in, and we will be charming down. Super close battle. Great game to my opponent, but that definitely came down to the wire. All right, moving into this next battle here. We saw a lot of great teams today, and a lot of very common teams, but we do have Whiscash on the lead right here. They decided to swap into Mandibuzz, so we're going to go ahead and come in with Alolan Ninetales. Mandibuzz safe swap is really good, and we utilize it ourselves, but Alolan Ninetales can really lock it down. You don't need to throw any energy, and you don't need to shield anything. These Aerial Aces will do neutral damage, but they can't take us out before we fully charm down, and because they did have a Whiscash, we're going to go ahead and basically save all that energy so we can hit for neutral back with Weather Ball. So we'll have to see what their third Pokemon is going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be something that can cover grass as well. Might be Registeel, but we'll have to see what they decide to bring in. And they do decide to bring in a Beedrill here, which is actually a Shadow Beedrill as well, which is kind of a cool pick for this meta because of all the Charmers and Steals. It has Poison Jab as a fast move and Drill Run as a charge move there, which can handle or core break that meta. But with all this loaded energy, we're going to be hitting this Beedrill extremely hard, and there's nothing our opponent can do now because of the team comp that we do have versus theirs, right? We can bring in Mandibuzz right here, and that is going to be a good game Again, just goes to show how strong Mandibuzz can be. Even though they did have it themselves, that Alolan Ninetales really helps out. Alright, moving into this next battle here, we have Politoed on the lead versus Defense Form Deoxys. Definitely a tough lead to be facing with. And the goal right here is basically I want to try to land an Earthquake early. Their Defense Form Deoxys is not going to shield this early. Plus, we want to be counting the fast moves to make sure they get up to Thunderbolt. So we'll have to see what happens. We do land the Earthquake, which is great. And now I tried to catch the charge move on Mandibuzz right there. But I'm going to go ahead and shield. This is going to be a Psycho Boost, so they are now going to swap, and they're swapping out into a Charmer, which is unfortunate. So we're going to go ahead and go for Weather Ball right here, and this is where this team is very tough to deal with. We're going to go ahead and swap it with our own Alolan Ninetales right here, and look to Charm down. Do as much damage as we can. We get a bit of lag, and I wasn't able to count their moves. I have no clue where they're at, so I just decided to throw the energy. In hindsight, probably should have saved that. I could have probably done one more charm and taken down the Wigglytuff right there. We are going to see Defense Form Deoxys come back in, which is fine with me. They're going to have to throw their energy in order to take us out, and it's going to have to be a Thunderbolt or a Rock Slide, and it is going to be a Rock Slide, which does take us out. So I'm guessing they might be running double charm. So I have to bring in Mandibuzz right here and store up as much energy as I can so I can hit for at least neutral with Aerial Ace versus the possible Alolan Ninetales, Whimsicott, or Clefable in the back, and we want to farm down. And sure enough, it is going to be a Whimsicott, which is so tough. That's like the worst one of them to have because my Politoed only can hit for resisted damage with Weather Ball and Earthquake here because it is going to be a grass typing. So we're just going to go ahead and go for double Aerial Ace. I'm going to look to swap now into Politoed. All shields are down, but Charm is just absolutely destroying me. And I'm going to see if I can get 2 Weather Balls off right here. These Weather Balls will be resisted, but I'm thinking, you know what, I might be able to do enough chip damage where 1 Aerial Ace, if I can get to it on Mandibuzz, might be enough, and then it'll come down to a race. But man, this Whimsicott closing out is definitely a tough one to deal with when having a Politoed lead. So they are going to farm us down. We're going to try to see if we can get to an Aerial Ace right here, but I have no energy, and Charm is just absolutely destroying, and that is going to be a good battle. Very well played to my opponent. Double Charm, whew, tough one to deal with. But there's a lot of double steals out there too, so it'll be interesting to see how those play out. All right, moving into this next one, we have Politoed on the lead versus Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff leads are extremely hard because one of two things. Their backline is either double steal or double anti-steal. So what I like to do here is go for double Weather Ball in order to do quite a bit of neutral damage and try to force a shield early from them. So what we do is throw the Weather Ball right here. We get a shield. Great. I'm going to go ahead and do another Weather Ball. I should have clicked it right away, but we did get 1 extra Mud Shot in. And now we're going to actually swap into a Alolan Ninetales because we want to see what they have in the back. They're deciding to stay in, but now they bring in an Excadrill. So they're probably running double steal now. So that means they must have Registeel or Bastiodon back there, plus this Excadrill. And Excadrill is going to take neutral from Weather Ball, which is really nice because then we force that second shield right here. So I'm sitting pretty good, even though we lost lead there with that charm, and we're losing switch here, which I am going to let this Rock Slide go through. It's all going to come down to energy here on Politoed and Mandibuzz. We do have 2 shields as well, so we're going to go ahead and bring in the Politoed right here and look to load up on energy. Charge Move now coming through. We have to shield it. Rock Slide and Drill Run both do neutral damage right here, and we need to count the Mud Shots. I'm going to go ahead and throw on 3, so that's going to be 3 Mud Shots because I don't want to make a mistake and go to 4 thinking they only have 4 and it could have been 5, which would be the charge moves. So we're going to go ahead and throw that Weather Ball. We will see the Wigglytuff come back in, which definitely tells me it is double steal. And what's great about Mandibuzz is it can actually do so well if it's a Registeel. So we're going to go ahead and swap into Mandibuzz right here, catch the charge move, which is going to be probably an Ice Beam. So we're going to go ahead and let this go. It is going to be an Ice Beam for super effective damage, and then we are going to see a Registeel now come in. So this game is not over, but again, your team really has to rely and dance with energy when it comes to Mandibuzz and Politoed, which is why we sacked the Alolan Ninetales right there in order to basically give ourselves some more energy there on the Politoed. So we're going to go ahead and throw another Foul Play right here. This does neutral against the Registeel, neutral against the Bastiodon as well, which is really nice. Now, it's also great to note, and I think we will see it later in this video, is a Mandibuzz versus a Registeel. Like if you safe swap Mandibuzz and they bring in Registeel, you can win that matchup if you want to. So what we're going to do here is we obviously need to shield this charge move. And I know the switch clock is coming back up, so my only win condition right here is going for a super hard farm, banking they're going to try to catch a charge move, which they do, and I have to hard farm, and oh my goodness, we survive right there with Politoed. We're going to go for that Earthquake, and that is going to be a good battle, very well played. My opponent played it well, where they had to try to catch the Earthquake right there, but that was super close. GG's to my opponent. All right, moving into this next battle here, we have Politoed on the lead versus Mandibuzz. Okay, not an ideal lead for us. So what I'm going to try to do is catch the charge move on my own Mandibuzz. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a Weather Ball right here. And then I'm going to look to potentially swap into my own Mandibuzz to catch that charge move. I'm reading that they might have double steal in the back. So again, the game plan is to draw that out, right? Or they may have double anti-steal. It's a toss-up when it comes to ABB lines, and they're deciding to stay in, which tells me maybe they actually have double anti-steal in the back, so something like a Medicham, maybe a Toxicroak, stuff like that, and we do see a Politoed come in. So it is going to be an ABB line, most likely, and it is going to be double anti-steal, which means Alolan Ninetales is looking really strong, because if they did have a steal, like a Bastiodon or a Registeel, they would have brought that into the Mandibuzz right away. So we're just going to keep going for foul plays here in this matchup. It's a reverse matchup of the lead, but what's really great here is you have to not shield. Like I'm all about energy advantage with this team, and this Politoed has to show that it has Blizzard, because I'm not going to give up a shield. It is going to just be Weather Ball spam, which is fine by me, because if they decide to keep going for Weather Balls, I can get off another foul play and take out the Politoed or get a shield. They went for another Weather Ball, which is fine by me. Again, going for this foul play now. We can survive this Weather Ball if you guys have been paying attention to how much health it actually does. We survive with a sliver of health right here. We're going to go ahead and go for the foul play. Now, they also might not be able to farm me down. Since we're flying typing here, the Mudshons won't do enough damage, but they let it go, which is perfectly fine by me. That means Mandibuzz is going to be coming back in, and hopefully we can get to an Aerial Ace right here. Last second, we do get to it. But we can bring in Alolan Ninetales into this, especially if they do have a steal in the back and they accidentally misclicked on the Politoed to bring it in. That is something that could happen. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Alolan Ninetales right here, sneak that Charm through. Let this charge move go through as well. There's no need to shield. It is going to be an Aerial Ace there for neutral damage. And we are going to see them now swap out into Jellicent. Okay, so things are actually looking really good. Our win condition here is now with Alolan Ninetales, because Charm is just so strong in the meta, especially if there's no steals on the team. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Bubble Beam, and then we're going to look to go for Psyshock right here. Force that shield. If they don't, it's going to do enough chip neutral damage where Charm can take them out. And then what we're going to look to do is clear the debuff of Bubble Beam and come in with Politoed. And our win condition right now is going for Earthquake right here. Shadow Ball will not KO. Bubble Beam will not KO. Ice Beam will not KO. So we let this charge move go through. It is going to be a Shadow Ball, which is perfectly fine. And now we can go for Earthquake. They're going to have to shield this because it will do neutral damage. And it's going to be game over either way, because if they do shield, we can come in with Alolan Ninetales and farm down. If they don't, we come in with Alolan Ninetales and farm down. We are able to get to a Weather Ball as well, which just is why Politoed is just so deadly. So Weather Ball will be getting the final shield. They decide to throw the energy, which is fine by me. Alolan Ninetales can now come in and charm down, and that is going to be a good battle. Tough one right there, but Alolan Ninetales, this team, Alolan Ninetales, Mandibuzz, and an anti-steal on the lead is very, very strong. So we are going to go ahead and shield this charge move right here, and then charm down, and that will be a good game, very well played. All right, moving into this next battle here. We have... Let's see, we have Politoed on the lead versus Wigglytuff. Again, a very tough thing to deal with. We'll have to see how they play it, but we're going to go ahead and go for the double Weather Ball. They decide to swap into Pelipper, and they swapped right on when I was deciding to throw the Weather Ball right there. So good swap by them, but that chip damage is going to be nice, and we're going to go ahead and build up to our own Weather Ball and bring back up the energy to where we had it before. Now swap into Mandibuzz right here. Mandibuzz can handle a Pelipper pretty well, and you don't necessarily have to shield unless they do. So we're going to go ahead and let these Weather Balls go through. As you can see, they do chip damage. And if they really want to do a lot of neutral damage, they're going to have to throw that Hurricane. But what they're likely, or most likely going to do, is try to shield bait with Weather Balls right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going for foul plays, and I do get to another one before they decide to throw, which is great. This might get a shield, which will be huge for us in order to take out that Wigglytuff, and we do get the shield, which is fantastic. Now I'm guessing this is going to be, again, a double anti-steal in the back, so Wiggly anti-steal this time instead of Wiggly double steal like we saw earlier in the game, which means Alolan Ninetales is looking very strong to sweep, especially if it's a fighter, which will take basically super effective damage from Charm. So we go ahead and let the Mandibuzz go down, reading that Alolan Ninetales is our sweep. We're going to go ahead and come in with Politoed. I got a bit greedy right there, but Weather Ball isn't going to KO us, so I'm not going to shield. And then I need to throw a Weather Ball right now. Throw the Weather Ball. Nope, I'm getting more greedy. I'm getting so greedy. All right, we do throw the Weather Ball already. This is going to take out the Pelipper, and if we see the Wigglytuff come back in, we have 2 Weather Balls basically ready to go. And again, what are we reading? We're reading a Wigglytuff double anti-steal because they had Pelipper, and now we swap into Alolan Ninetales, and we're just going to Charm down. Remember, we still have loaded energy there on Politoed as well. They're not swapping out, which tells me this is definitely going to be a double, maybe a fighter in the back, or maybe a water, maybe Politoed or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Ice Beam, look to Charm down, and the final Pokemon is going to be a Toxicroak right here, which actually takes neutral because of Charm, because of that poison fighting typing. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball, force that final shield, and we should be able to win this game here with Politoed because we do have a Weather Ball basically loaded up. So we are going to be able to get in that one fast move right here. We have to shield the charge move here from Politoed, but this Weather Ball is going to do enough neutral damage in order to take it out, and that will be a good game, very well played to my opponent. As you can see, Wigglytuff leads could be anything in the back. It could be double steal, could be double anti-steal, and it's tough to play, but if they decide to swap like they did here, we know what the team read is. If we decide to swap, we go into the Alolan Ninetales, we see it's a double steal. Alright, coming into this match, we have Politoed versus Bastiodon on the lead. Very, very common lead that you guys will see in a Sableye safe swap. Now, this is my mistake right here. What you guys want to do is, instead of going to Alolan Ninetales and charming down, you guys want to come in with Mandibuzz, because Mandibuzz can handle Sableye just as well, but you won't have to shield unless they decide to shield. So you can basically, I had to give up a shield right there in order to win, because the return would have done enough neutral damage to basically take us out. So what we're going to do here is just go for Weather Balls versus Bastiodon, but Bastiodon is going to get far too much energy from us, plus we're doing resisted damage here with Weather Ball. If we had Mandibuzz, we could do neutral damage with those foul plays, and if this is going to be a Bastiodon, Medicham, Sableye core, or team, the Alolan Ninetales, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The Alolan Ninetales would do better at sweeping endgame with the Medicham, which we do see come in with 2 shields, right? That's the tough thing about this team, is I'm trying to get shields back now, trying to keep my energy topped up. I need to swap into Mandibuzz right now and look to get ahead on energy. Now, if this Medicham has Ice Punch, this is going to be very, very close, because it will do super effective damage, but if they're running Power Up Punch Psychic, we'll have to see how it plays out. It's going to be Power Up Punch, so it might be Power Up Punch Psychic, so what we're going to try to do is just sneak as many Snarls through as we can, because they're likely going to keep going for Power Up Punches and just trying to counter us down, because we take neutral, right? We are a dark flying typing, so we're going to go ahead and throw our double aerial aces right now for super effective damage. If one of them lands, fantastic. We throw the first one, it lands, sweet. Alright, so now notice that my switch clock is coming back up, which means theirs is coming back up. We can't shield as well, so the Power Up Punch won't be enough damage to take us out. Here comes that swap, and we're going to go ahead and try to swap into Politoed, which we do, but really, really late, and we're going to go ahead and throw a Weather Ball. Now also notice I have 2 charge moves on my Mandibuzz as well that we saved there. Double Aerial Ace, or an Aerial Ace and a Foul Play. So we get a shield there from Bastiodon. We have to shield this right here. It's going to be a race. We need to be able to get to 2 Weather Balls versus this Bastiodon before they get to another Stone Edge right here. So we're going to go ahead and throw this first Weather Ball. This does super effective damage here against Bastiodon, and it's likely going to be forcing that final shield from them. So it does get the final shield. Now we need to get one more Weather Ball right here, or it's going to be game over, and we do get to it. Now, is this going to do enough damage to take out the Bastiodon? Nope, not enough, and they are going to be able to farm us down right here. But we have a Mandibuzz with a Foul Play, so we can throw the Foul Play here for neutral damage. They have a Medicham in the back, and we have an Aerial Ace ready to go. So we take out the Bastiodon. We use the Aerial Ace here against the Medicham, and that is going to be a good battle, very well played. This was much tougher than it should have been. If I brought in Mandibuzz to Sableye and Alolan Ninetales to Medicham, this would have been a good game. All right, moving into this next battle here. We have Politoed on the lead versus Whiscash. Okay, again, we'll have to see how they decide to play it. Maybe they have double anti-grass. Maybe they have double steel. We'll have to see. Charge Move now coming through. It's going to be Mud Bomb here. Does neutral damage. You don't necessarily have to shield right away. It just does some nice chip damage there. We're just going to load up and look to start throwing Weather Balls here. What's great is because of that ground typing on Whiscash, so it's a water ground, it's going to take neutral from Weather Ball, and we can spam it faster than they can spam Mud Bombs, which is really nice. We'll have to see how they decide to play this out, but they're deciding to stay in and shield, which tells me they're running a double steal. So I'm going to go ahead and swap into Mandibuzz, and they are bringing in Bastiodon. So you have to read what your opponent does, right? They decided to stay in with Whiscash when it's not the best matchup for them, and shield, which means they got to be running double steel in the back. So we're going to go ahead and just keep going for foul plays here. And as you guys will see, foul play does enough chip damage to a Bastiodon where they can't really farm me down. Even though they're doing super effective damage with Smackdown, they're going to have to throw energy eventually. Otherwise, I might be able to take this thing out depending on how fast I can get to these foul plays versus the Smackdown race. So as you can see, this is coming down to the wire. They do decide to throw the energy, which is fine by me. I can really start to throttle my Politoed's energy because Stone Edge takes us out. And remember, it's going to be 2, I think, to the next charge move. So I'm actually going to go ahead and throw it just before they throw the Stone Edge right there. So we can keep a shield here for our team. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball. They shielded right there. All right, so I'll shield myself, and I'll look to really load up on energy now, because I'm guessing they might have Registeel in the back. They do decide to swap in Whiscash, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and shield right here, and then we're going to swap into Alolan Ninetales. Now, this game is going to be crazy because they kept Bastiodon. They have loaded energy on Whiscash, and I'm guessing they have a Registeel in the back. So this is going to be a nightmare to see if we can pull this off. So we're going to go ahead and just charm down. The Whiscash is just spamming these Mud Bombs, which is unfortunate because it's doing so much neutral damage here versus Alolan Ninetales. But at least we're building up some energy as well, and we're going to get this Whiscash out of there. Now, we'll most likely see Bastiodon come back in. So we're going to go ahead and throw a Weather Ball. No, it's a Diggersby in the back. That means this Weather Ball is going to be doing super effective damage, which is enough for us to use. If they would have brought in Bastiodon right there and farmed me down, that would have been crazy good. So we do get to another Weather Ball right here. The Bastiodon is going to farm us down, but that's okay. This Diggersby does not have enough energy for an Earthquake, which means we can come in with Politoed. We can farm down right here for all the energy, and we just need to throw one Weather Ball. We do get to the Weather Ball, which is great. This is going to do super effective damage as well, and now this is going to be a race to see if they can get to the Earthquake. But they throw the energy right away. This was not enough to be an Earthquake. It's just going to be a Fire Punch, which is resisted, and we can survive and hang on right there and farm down. Now, I think my opponent might have had it would have definitely been a close one if they brought in Bastiodon and farmed down. So we have Politoed on the lead versus Alolan Ninetales here. This is always a tough lead to deal with. So we'll have to see what they decide to do. And they most likely, especially if they're Powder Snows, they go for Dazzling Gleams first. So I'm going to go ahead and just shield my Politoed to keep it healthy, because depending on what they have in the back, I might actually need to use it, especially if they have double steel. So we're going to go ahead and shield this first charge move right here. I think it is going to be a Dazzling Gleam, which it was great. We catch that or shield that, and then we're just going to throw another Weather Ball right here. We're just trying to get this Alolan Ninetales out of there, do as much chip damage as we can, and yep, okay, cool. They decided not to shield, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and throw this next Weather Ball. Now, they may want to come in and farm down, which means they might have a Grass, or they might have something that can tank some Weather Balls here because they let that go. They are going to bring in Defense Form Deoxys, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into Mandibuzz, start getting ahead on energy, because I'm guessing they might have Registeel in the back, considering that they just wanted to come in and farm down and keep that shield advantage. Registeel and Defense Form Deoxys do so well with energy advantage. Sure enough, there's the Registeel right there. So we got to keep in mind that the Defense Form Deoxys has a lot of energy right now, but at least we can be doing neutral damage, and we got a shield. We can do neutral damage here to Registeel, and you guys are going to see why Mandibuzz is an absolute monster here versus Registeel, is because it can tank multiple charge moves. It can tank these flash cannons, which don't do too much damage. It does about a quarter, and these foul plays really start to add up as well, and they're going to have to throw a charge move in order to take us out, and they can't really overload too much on energy, which means Politoed is looking pretty good to close out here for us. So we're going to go ahead and throw another foul play, but they do get to the flash cannon here. Hopefully this isn't enough to take us out. Okay, it is enough to take us out. All right. That's right, we're going to load up on some energy, and we're going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball right now, but they swap in Defense Form Deoxys, and that's a good play right there. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. It is going to be a Thunderbolt, which is good. We were able to block that, but now this game is going to come down to the wire. I'm lagging a bit too, but I need to start throwing some Weather Balls right here, and this is going to be one crazy game. They still have a shield. They still have a Registeel. We're going to try to swap into Alolan Ninetales and do as much damage with Charm as we can. Now, if they're running Thunderbolt Psycho Boost, we're looking okay. If they're running Rock Slide Thunderbolt, that is not good. It is going to be a Rock Slide. Oh, that is unfortunate. So we're going to try to Charm down. We throw the Weather Ball right here to force that final shield here from the Defense Form Deoxys. We'll have to see what they decide to do. They decide not to shield. They come in with the Registeel. They're going to try to farm down. They can't. They have to throw the energy. Lock On will not do enough fast move damage in order to take us out. That means Flash Cannon takes us out, which means their energy dry. And look at that. We have almost 2 Weather Balls right here. So we're going to go ahead and throw this first Weather Ball. This will be getting the final shield from our opponent, and then we get to the second one right here, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Very tough one, but again, Politoed does so well with energy, and it can sweep most teams, especially if it has steals on the team. Otherwise, your Alolan Ninetales is going to be the one sweeping. All right, moving into this next battle here. We have Politoed versus Bastiodon. All right, another Bastiodon team. We see a swap into Pelipper, so we're going to go ahead and bring in the Alolan Ninetales. Should have brought in the Mandibuzz. This is what I was learning today. I have to shield on Alolan Ninetales. I don't have to shield on Mandibuzz. You can beat that Pelipper as well. So we're going to go ahead and let this first one go. It is going to be a Weather Ball, and I am trying to go for Weather Ball myself to force a shield from them. I don't want to give up shield advantage unless I get it from them. So we do get a shield, which is fine by me. We're going to go ahead and Charm down. I'll shield myself right here and look to Charm down. Hopefully we can, but Pelipper is so spammy, and again, this is why I kind of learned from Trial by Fire right here that bring in that Mandibuzz. You don't need to give up shields in order to maintain switch advantage, but in this case, I have to in order to maintain switch advantage. So we will see the Bastiodon come back in and farm down, which is fine by me. They're not going to get too much energy right here, only 3 smackdowns. They're going to need 7 in order to get to a Stone Edge, and even then, it's just going to do some chip damage to Politoed. So we'll let them take us out. We bring in the Politoed right here. They do swap to Jellicent, which is really nice. So what we can do here is go for Earthquake. We're also counting the hexes. That was 4. And we're going to try to swap on 5 to catch the charge move, hoping that it is a Shadow Ball. So we throw the Earthquake. We count 1 more. We swap. Nope. They did a very good job over farming right there and not throwing the charge move right away. So now they are throwing charge move. This could be Ice Beam, which it is, which is unfortunate, but it's not enough to KO everyone, which means we can go for Foul Play right here. This is why Mandibuzz is such a chonky Pokemon. The Flying Umbreon, it can tank charge moves and put a lot of pressure with its own charge moves. Another Ice Beam is going to be coming through, but again, what's it going to do? Not KO us. The Ice Beam is super effective, but we can hang on. We also resist Hex right there because of our Dark typing. We can throw another Foul Play for super effective damage and take out the Jellicent. So Mandibuzz putting in absolute work right there. We will see the Bastiodon come in and get a fast move off. But all we need to do is go for Earthquake right here, and this is going to be a GG. You guys will see a Stone Edge, how much damage it does if you guys haven't seen it yet. It's survivable. It hurts, but it's survivable. So the Stone Edge does come through, does some decent chip damage, but we can just go for the Earthquake right here, and that will be a good game, very well played. Excuse me. This is going to one-shot that Bastiodon, and that will be a good game, very well played. Moving into this next battle here, we have... Let's see, we have Politoed on the lead versus Jellicent. Again, another tough lead right here. We're going to try to do this. Actually, I decided to swap out right away. In hindsight, I should probably try to swap on the charge move to try to catch that Shadow Ball like we did in Game 1. But I decided this time to go for Mandibuzz right away. I think this was one of my earlier matches. But we do see a Registeel right here, which is possibly a Jellicent double steal team. And what you guys are going to see is what Mandibuzz can do in basically a fresh fight versus a Registeel. So we are going to soak that Flash Cannon right here, and we're just going to keep loading up on energy and look to go for foul plays. Again, we know that they have to throw charge moves in order to take us out, which means they're going to be dumping their energy, which also means we might be able to get to multiple foul plays right here in order to take it out. So we're going to go ahead and throw another foul play for some neutral damage. We'll have to see if they decide to shield at some point. This first foul play is not going to be enough to take it out, but we do get to another one in time. This is where we could get a shield, and this is where the game could possibly be won if we can get it. We take out the Registeel. Okay, fine by me. They decide to bring in the Jellicent as well, which means they must have Ice Beam. Otherwise, they wouldn't bring it in because Bubble Beam and Shadow Ball wouldn't take us out. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go right here, and it is going to be an Ice Beam. So that does take us out. We can go ahead and bring in Alolan Ninetales to charm down the Jellicent, and they are going to be building up to Shadow Ball right here. Players will not run Ice Beam and Bubble Beam, which means they're going to be going Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, which means we know we can shield right here, and it's going to be the Shadow Ball. So we safely shield that. We don't see them swap out as well, which means whatever's in the back is extremely weak to Alolan Ninetales because they want to get this thing out of here. And we're going to go ahead and just double shield the Shadow Balls right here. And we do see that it is a Sableye right here. So we're going to go ahead and build up, go for a Weather Ball. Their win condition now is basically with Sableye if they can land the return versus Alolan Ninetales. So what I'm going to do is basically swap out right now after getting this next Weather Ball because they have to throw a return in order to take us out. Foul Play wouldn't do enough damage. So now I'm going to go ahead and swap out into Politoed once I get both shields right here because they can't take out my Politoed in time. They have to throw a Foul Play or a return and a Foul Play in order to take us out, which means I can get to the Weather Ball, and that is basically going to be a good battle. Very well played. So you guys saw Mandibuzz just take on Registeel right there. That was really awesome. But climbed up to, I believe, 2743 today. Yeah, 2743. So we're getting there. We're climbing up slowly and steadily. We're getting there. And this team was a lot of fun. I've been using Alolan Ninetales and Mandibuzz quite a bit recently because it's just that strong. It's so good. And again, huge congrats to all the patrons who've been running this core and doing really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this team and these battles. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.